Lilou is my daughter. She will be 8 this year, and in French, it's the equivalent of Lily. So the title of the shop is Lily of the Valley. So it's about, there's so many facets to that name and that title and how I came up with it. It's about our town always not being painted as a pretty place. When we would go and sell, like, oh, where are you guys from? And we would say Stockton, and they're like, oh. So it's just about hope, you know, light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing, that yes, there can be darkness, but there is something beautiful, you know, blooming out of somewhere that people say is not such a beautiful place or not such a beautiful place to live, you know, that things can happen. That's my favorite thing, is like making people happy. It's like when people cook for someone and they love their food, and they always say, it makes me happy to see people enjoying my food. So it makes me happy to see like people's reactions on their face, because they're like, this doesn't belong here in Stockton. It's like, no, very well it is, and it does belong here because this is where I am and this is what I do. So I'm not going to commute somewhere else at this stage of life to do what I can do in my own hometown, especially if people are appreciating it the way they do. So I'm thankful for that.
Well, I heard it because like I'm just like into like thrifting around the area or whatever. And one day, like me and my friend were out, and like we were just like yelped this, and like it came up, and like we just went to this store.
This store has like personality, and the owner is really nice too. She's like, and like we don't even have to be like worried to like ask her, is there anything like in stock or like anything like that. Like if she has anything, we feel free to ask her whatever.
She has like a bunch of like old vintage clothing, and like she knows like a lot about it, you know. Like she'll tell you like where everything's from. She like puts us up on like stuff that we didn't even know.
I'm pretty old school. I probably wouldn't have a cell phone or even do social media if I didn't have this business, you know, because I'm like all about just talking to people, real life stuff. And people don't know about south of Harding. They don't know that there's a whole thriving life going on over here. And so that's one of my hashtags, is so hard. And it doesn't mean like, oh, I'm so hard. It just means like south of Harding, like get out and live a little. There's more going on. Not that the whole area isn't great and that north of Harding isn't great, but it's like get out and live a little. Get in your car, actually drive up El Dorado, drive down Center looking for something. Take a street, you know, and learn about what's here in your community, you know. And that's, I think, the biggest injustice we do to ourselves, is like not trying to explore, because if you try, you can find something. Growing up here, I've always heard the negative things, and it's the funny thing, like you feel like you have to defend your town, or, you know, and it's a fight town. It really is, you know. And one of my things that I think of is, you know, that's New York's slogan, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. I feel like if you can make it in Stockton, you can make it anywhere. Of course, it's a difficult place, you know. You can feel the hard press from every side, every angle, but it's like, do you get up and do something about it, or do you complain with everybody else, you know? And really, are you just complaining just to complain? Because I don't have time for that. I'm gonna make something happen and at least do it and say I did it, you know, instead of coulda, woulda, shoulda, you know. That's not what life is about. It's about living in regrets. It's like you have a purpose placed in you, start fulfilling it, or you're not living, kind of thing. It's home for me. This is what a lily in the valley is. It's like hidden, you know, something beautiful coming out of what people don't believe is a beautiful part of town. So I'd like to prove people wrong.